For a generation, the face and the voice of sports in Northeast Arkansas was Dick Clay. For the first 7 years of its existence, KAIT had no sports department. Then in 1970, Dick Clay was named the station's first sports director, a title he would hold for the next 28 years. You name it, he's covered it, including the 1973 tornado that ripped the roof off the Jonesboro High School gymnasium. His name became synonymous with sports at Arkansas State University. You couldn't say one without saying the other.
And I'll challenge the fans. Be there on Saturday. We'll see you next Sunday.
Most, if not all, of the methods used to cover sports at KAIT were revolutionized by Dick Clay. When he retired from KAIT in 1998, they came out of the woodwork to say goodbye.
All of us will miss him on the evening news because he was more than a colleague, an anchor. He was and will always remain a dear friend to all in Arkansas. Best wishes, Dick.
If y'all expect me to talk a long time, you're in trouble. I don't know what to say. It's been a heck of a day. And with that, I'm going to say that's sports.
He wasn't quite done, though. He went on to host his own sports magazine show about fishing and hunting and outdoors in Northeast Arkansas.
We've been to Alaska.
Real world.
The real world, up and down with the bears and the mooses and the caribou.
Absolutely great, but it's always great to be back home.
Ain't that the truth?
There's some beautiful things up there in Alaska, but there's also some beautiful things right here, Northeast Arkansas and Arkansas itself.
Ain't that the truth?
So see Arkansas first, and then go to Alaska.
Good advice.
Oh. Come here, baby. Got to get him in. Ah. I like that one pretty good, don't you?
I like it. Good fish.
Hold on. Here now. Let's see where I got you. Right in the lip. That's right where they don't like it. You got me too. You like it, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Hang on there a minute.
He signed off for the final time on the Sports Magazine show in 2005.
And that wraps it up. As always, we hope you enjoyed the show as much as we enjoyed putting it all together.
So, that's who we have this morning. He's sitting right here next to me.
So he's aged some, it looks like.
No, in fact, people right here inside Batten's Donuts are recognizing you, and they're saying he hasn't aged a day. Dick Clay in here with us this morning.
The lady that told me that was awfully pretty. I'm going to tell you that, and I love her to death.
Well, she was sitting right over there. She said, I know that guy. I've seen. She recognized you.
She really did. And, you know, this Legends thing, though, it kind of grabs my head and it won't let it go, because Legends, I'm going to tell you a story,
okay.
a little story about who's legendary and who's the big duck and all that kind of stuff. Back in 1992, they asked me and my wife if we would host a cruise, you know, in the Caribbean, and we were going to go along, and all the people from around that wanted to go with us would pay, and they'd go, and it'd be great. So we got a lot of people from Northeast Arkansas, my viewing area. We went on this cruise, and about midway through the cruise, we found out that a mothership of this cruise ship had some kind of a problem, and they were going to put some of their people over on our ship. And we said, well, we got plenty of room, I'm sure. Anyway, the next morning, Pat and I went out and got in the sun and everything, and next to the pool, and we were sitting there. We were the only ones out there. And she said, well, I'm going to go on in. I said, okay. And I looked over and back. There was a man and his wife there. And the man, I said, that's Ted Williams. That is Ted Williams. And so Ted's wife left, and we were the only ones out there. And I said, Ted, you want to come over and talk? Yeah, because I had a shade there. So we're sitting there, me and Ted Williams, and I could not talk. I was frozen. I mean, you're talking about legend. I mean, this is the greatest baseball player ever in all time, and he's sitting next to me. So I'm kind of, and by the time, here we go, this big Doug, here we go. Some people from Northeast Arkansas passed by. They said, hey, Dick, yeah, would you sign this with me? Steve, what do you mean? I'm signing the autograph. I give it to her. She goes on. Then the guy comes back to I want to take a picture of you and my wife. I said, fine. So I did that. And then another person came by a little later and said, Dick, I wish you'd sign this thing for me. And I said, fine. And I handed it to him. And I'm sitting there next to Ted Williams. And they leave, and he said, who are you?
I knew that was coming.
Well, you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm telling you, the greatest man, the most famous man ever in sports, Ted Williams.
That's awesome.
And we sit there and talk for hours. He's a duck hunter, and we talked about hazing and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I thought I'd throw that in there.
Well,
there's a legend for you.
I feel almost the same way because last week I got to talk to Metal Art Lemon.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm talking to you now, and next week I'm talking to Bill Dance.
Okay.
I'm lining up people who have been heroes to me in my job and in athletics, and so I feel the same way that you felt sitting next to Ted Williams on that cruise ship.
Well, do people know how tall you are?
Sometimes they can't tell.
This guy, no.
They don't want my autograph, though.
Why?
No.
This is a big, tall guy, and hey, and what you're doing here, nobody knows anything about except you, I think.
Well,
this is amazing.
We don't want to talk about me. I want to talk about you.
Oh no, okay, go ahead.
This is your first experience. Do you want to wear headphones, or would you rather? Yes, you can wear headphones. Okay.
The man wants to wear headphones. Let him wear the
headphones
here.
This is your first foray with internet television.
Yes, it is.
And what do you think so far?
I thought this is amazing. I couldn't imagine how you do that because we used to do television in a certain way. And this is indeed amazing. The ambiance here. It's just great. I mean, people coming in and they're not making enough noise to mess with you.
Right.
But it is really, really great. And all you got in here is great people.
Sure.
Seems like.
Absolutely.
This is really something.
We've been doing it here for, we started out as internet radio. We've only recently made the shift this season to internet television, but we did the radio show from here too. We've done our show here. This will be the second year of doing the show here.
Well, I don't have any volume.
Hang on.
No volume.
Dick, in 2010, when I called Dave and asked him about doing this, he actually was way ahead of his time with Near Sports. And when I moved back to Springdale, I had this idea, and I told him when we had breakfast one morning, I said, now, in 5 years, we will be live television, and we will have a sports magazine. And he looked at me and he said, are you kidding me? And I said, no, that's my dream and that's my plan. Well, we did it in 2.5 years. So we're live TV now. The sports magazine's out. We had the football issue, the basketball issues coming out into this month.
Oh, this is going
Covers
great.
the 5A East, the 8 teams in the 5A East. Yeah. So just give you a little history on that. That's where we're at today. So now this show's about you. Now you know about your primetime sports.
It's really about you because I'm just the old guy that is still rocking. But used to be there. Yeah.
I want to apologize for the camera a minute ago. Somebody come over here and shake my hand, and we knocked the camera.
Oh, that happens all the time.
So.
If that doesn't happen, you don't have a real honest thing.
Well, it's neat when people come over and hug your neck and shake your hand and all that
stuff. We're on the air.
That is this is a great thing here, folks. I'll tell you, as a matter of fact, we did check it out, my wife and I.
Oh, yeah.
We did check it out this morning, and we were really amazed by it, really. So. Yeah, I'm happy to be on here.
Well, we're happy to have you on here.
Oh,
That's what.
hey.
So you got a lot of stories to tell. You got more time to talk.
We got plenty of time, yeah, because both of our first two guests were kind of short, so we got lots of time with you this morning.
Don't ask me anything that causes my memory to go, what are you doing? My wife, okay? Because I am, 60-something, maybe 70-something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We may find out the true answer to that question before the end of the day.
Now, is your wife at home watching right now?
No, she will watch it later on.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, y'all can watch it together.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Pat.
Good.
She's the smart one of the
family. I got to meet Pat Friday or Thursday afternoon.
Good.
And without Pat, I'm telling you, I don't know if he'd be lost.
Well, I don't know what I'd do without him because I have a real job. This is just fun.
Yeah, this is my real job, so
See, this is ideal for guys like me.
Yeah.
This is ideal, and this is perfect for this venue. It is perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I want people to know, because you actually started at Channel 8 at KAIT before 1970. You were doing some hither and yon work for them, writing copy and getting shots and stuff like that before there was even a sports department.
Well, you mentioned Pat. Pat was working out there as a traffic manager, which means that she was working and putting the commercials in their proper spot. And I was working on my master's degree in physical education at the time at Arkansas State. And what I was doing was just, they had no sports at all out there, so I was just trying to advise them just a little bit, and I was doing a little photographic work for them and making a little extra money there. And finally, the Hernwrights bought the thing. Bob said, we don't have any sports here. Can you do sports for us just part-time? And I said, yeah. So for a while, I was going to school, trying to get my master's. I was running a golf course, and I was doing this part-time. And I found out that I wasn't. And people that remember when I first started will remember that I wasn't very good at this part of it. No,
I don't believe that.
I was scared to death. I was scared to death. There's one of those deals where I think the first time I was up there, I went like, help me somebody or something like that. It was really, really, really bad. And a little later on, I found out that I could relax and go ahead and do it.
And of course, that was when you took over in 1970 as the sports director.
Yeah.
Did you imagine at that time that would take up nearly 30 years of your life from that point forward?
I loved it. Immediately loved it. Of course, I got a master's degree in physical education. I wanted to be a coach, and I knew a lot about sports, played everything, and just loved sports to death. I was a little bit confused about the way sports was going at that time. Sports, the announcers were all saying things and making themselves better than what the people were doing on the field. I mean, they were screaming things and doing, and I said, that is the wrong way to go. So I tried to change that a little bit, and make the people, the players, the stars instead of the guy that was talking about the play. So I was hoping that I could do that, and I think I finally accomplished that particular thing. Don't let Dick Clay be the star of this particular thing. Let the players be the stars. And I hope it did that. By the way, ASU basketball, I shot every home game that they ever played. And if you'll notice the highlights, if you could, notice the highlights, you'd find out that in basketball, they never missed a shot. Never missed it. I said, ain't missing a shot at home, And so just look back. They never
look at his footage,
and
there's never a missed shot on there.
That's it.
Well, we kind of have the same mission then, because that's where we're geared toward. Is we want to highlight the young people, the student athletes
that is great.
in high school. That's what the magazine's about. That's what the television's about. This is not about David and I. This is about young people that we want to promote and hopefully go to another level. People can watch from all around the world. Matter of fact, we have viewers in Australia, Germany, different places around the world. So it's pretty cool stuff.
Oh, that is amazing, and it's great what you're doing, and that is fantastic, because it's all about the kids and the athletes and
the schools Yeah, that's what we try to do.
I want to just go over a list, because when you started, you actually started before 1970, like I said, part-time at the station. I want to go over a list of the major accomplishments that Arkansas State has made in their athletic program just during the time that you were there. You saw these things happen. You covered them happening as they were happening. And we'll start 1967. Arkansas State baseball had their best season ever in 1967 and made their first postseason run, 26-8-1. They have not had a season that good since 1967.
As a matter of fact, I can't remember who the coach was at that time.
I didn't look that up.
No, okay. but I remember the run, and they had some local. They had a lot of local athletes that were I think some of the Wagners from over in Manila or wherever, and a bunch of local athletes that did really well, and they did have that. That was a good run for baseball at Arkansas State.
Who's the stadium named after?
Tomlinson.
Was
Kel Tomlinson.
Wasn't he the coach then? Wasn't he?
He might have been the coach at that time.
Yeah.
Because that was just it was just before Johnson. Didn't Johnson come in behind?
Rich Johnson.
Rich Johnson.
Good friend of mine.
He was in the 70s.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're remembering all this kind of stuff. See,
Thank
that's
you.
What I told you about that. But Ike was a heck of a guy. So was Rich, and it could have been Rich if it did that particular.
I think it was Tomlinson, and then Rich came in after him.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, so 1970, your first year as the sports director, that was the year that Arkansas State won the national championship for football in small college division and went undefeated 11-0.
11-0, and that's one of the greatest seasons they've ever. As a matter of fact, that they've ever had. And that was Ellender's year, I believe. And Ellender was, as far as coaches rank. As far as the knowledge of football and all, Ellender coached the coaches as good as anybody ever did. And what he did, he's one of the first people. In those days, they didn't have much weight work. This is when they started to work in the heavy weights and overload, and I think that made the football team. And they also had some real good passing and catching in that, if I remember correctly. But they were the best in the nation at that time.
Only national championship Arkansas State has ever won. A couple of different milestones in 1974. They opened Indian Stadium, which is now Liberty Bank Stadium. That was the first year for the stadium. And they started women's basketball for the first time ever at Arkansas State. Also, that same year, 1974, you were there for that.
Absolutely, and they kept wondering what to name those. What are they going to call the Lady Indians? They ended up calling them Lady Indians, as a matter of fact. But there was a lot of. They said, well, let's don't call them Lady Indians. Let's do. And I can't remember who the first coach was, right offhand, but I remember that it took them about probably 5-6 years to get where they could actually beat somebody.
1975, Arkansas State had another 11-0 football season.
11-0 in 1975 was probably the best football team that they've had total.
Better than the national championship team.
I think so. Oh, yes. As far as the physical ability and everything, yeah, that was a better team, much better team. As a matter of fact, Arkansas State just kept getting better and better with the coaches.
1987, they built the Convocation Center. You've spent so many years broadcasting from old Indian Fieldhouse, and now all of a sudden there's this great big arena.
As a matter of fact, there are some people that are mad at me because I went out when they started moving the earth to that thing. I went out and shot. And every night I would come in and say, all right, they're moving some more earth out there, and report it. And I did that until they built the whole darn thing. And I had all of that film, and it's gone.
Oh, no.
Yes. There's a couple of athletic directors, and I won't even mention their name, that were mad at me for losing all that tape. Because, I mean, from the time they put the big machines out there to scrape it till it got
so that footage doesn't exist in KAIT's archives at all?
No, not as far as I know.
Wow. Okay. No. Man. Well, in that same year...
Hey, people are going to get mad at me about that.
Yeah, they can get over it.
Yeah.
In that same year, in basketball, Arkansas State played Arkansas for the very first time in the NIT tournament. The NIT folks figured if Arkansas won't play Arkansas State by choice, we'll make them do it in the NIT.
Right.
And that game went to overtime. Arkansas State led that game most of the way.
And I will tell you this as a fan of Arkansas State, as opposed to a fan of Arkansas. Okay. Arkansas ripped us off on that deal right there. We had a foul, and you can look at the pictures.
The whole game is on YouTube if you look for it.
Yeah, and you go to the foul they did not call. I can't remember the kid's name, but he got charged. If they had called a foul at that time, we would have won the game. And that's all I got to say about that.
So, that was another milestone. One more milestone I want to mention is when they opened.
Now, that one there brings back bad memories. Yes,
you were there. Obviously, you were at the game. You were at all the games.
Yeah.
Here's his cliche, and that's all I have to say about that.
And then they opened the baseball stadium in 1993. Tomlinson Stadium opened, and that was a big thing at the time for the baseball team to have that nice of a stadium.
Oh, absolutely, and the coaches really had to work on that. Rich Johnson was a coach at that time, I believe, and he did most of the work on it, really. And they finally named it Kell, because George Kell and the Kell bunch over there to Kell Thompson Field. But it was a fine, it still is one of the best little baseball fields around. And they've had some good luck in baseball, but baseball is one of those things where you never know who's going to be, who you're facing. You might be facing Podunk, and Podunk all of a sudden got a guy can pitch, and he got a good game, and you're going to lose. So it's baseball is just that way, especially in college and sometimes the small college. Yeah.
So when you think of all the different evolutionary changes that the Arkansas State athletic program has made over the course of its history, they made more changes and more giant leaps forward in their athletic program while you were there to cover it than they have at any other point in history.
Yes, because I was just almost part of that history, because I was a guy that was shooting the games for the coaches most of that time from the top, and later on when we started doing coaching shows, which was later on, I shot from the sideline, and I had some people shoot from the top. Then I would come in and put it all together. It'd take me all night, and then we'd do the show the next morning. And I did that for, seems like 100 years.
Well, I mean, everybody, you were the face of the entire sports generation for Northeast Arkansas. If it was sports, it came through you. Everybody knows who you are.
I hope what we tried to do is to emphasize, and we just discussed it a while ago, about emphasize the people, the players themselves, as opposed to anything else. And the main thing was that we didn't put anything really, really bad. If a guy had a terrible shot or a terrible foul or something like that, we didn't put that in there. And we tried to cover everybody, and you can't do it, but you've got to try.
Well, we've got a lot more to talk about with Dick Clay. We're going to take our one and only break during this segment. We'll be back in a couple of minutes with more from Dick Clay on YourPrimetimeSports.com.
You get big-time savings and hometown service. Always a bit Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram. At Baird, there's a difference you will clearly see. You're always a VIP.
My questions are all right. He has
Saving service, great selection too. Baird does it all for you.
No, it's not even
Retirement?
It's
never looked so good. Welcome to Chateau on the Ridge, assisted living in Paragould, Arkansas. Say hello to fine dining and down-home living, where around-the-clock security and peace of mind are always at your fingertips. And front row seats to the best shows, they're included. We call it Chateau on the Ridge. You can call it home. Call or visit today to get the whole scoop.
Through the years, First National Bank has created memories, starting new relationships, handing over keys and responsibilities, planning for the future, and building foundations, realizing dreams and destinations, sharing a lifetime of memories. First National Bank.
Do you need insurance? If the answer is yes, let Chris Robinson and his staff at Chris Robinson's Insurance Agency handle your needs. Whether it's auto, life, business, or planning for your retirement, Chris Robinson's Insurance Agency is ready to serve you and your family. Come by Chris Robinson Insurance Agency, 1211 West Court Street in Paragould.
And the clock ran out with the Indians ahead 78-76. This is Dick Clay reporting from Indian Fieldhouse.
That was footage of you from, it had to be before 1987 because it was from Indian Fieldhouse, and you were wrapping up coverage of a game there, and there's all kinds of stuff like this out there on people's VHS tapes that they don't even know they have, that are up in their closet or sitting on a shelf somewhere. I would love to get my hands on a lot of this stuff.
That guy was a young guy. Whoever that was, you
Whoever
just
that
shot.
was. It was you, man.
Oh, okay. All right.
More with Dick
He's
Clay.
a young'un. He was a young'un.
He's just if it was sports, it was Dick Clay on Region 8.
I enjoyed every
so
moment
many
of
years.
it. I really did.
You had some questions?
Yeah. What was your favorite sport to cover out of all the sports?
I got football. No doubt about it. Football is my favorite sport. If everything is wiped off the TV except football, I'd be okay. Now, I love the other sports, but I like them when they got, it's one of those man things or something. I don't know what it is, but, and
does your wife like football?
yes, she loves football, really does. She likes basketball. Now, ironically, I was better at basketball when I played than I was football, but I always loved it.
Tell us where you played at.
I played at Portageville, Missouri.
In Portageville.
In Portageville.
See, I didn't know that. That's why I asked that question, because I didn't know that.
As a matter of fact, we were undefeated for 3 straight years up there during the time. Donald Hawkins was our quarterback up there, and Vic Reeves. So the field is up there named Vic Reeves Field.
Yeah.
He was our coach.
Wow.
We were undefeated for 3 years.
That's
So when
pretty good stuff.
KAIT went on the air in 1963, were you in Portageville at that time when they first came on the air?
No. I was probably in service at the time. I joined the Air Force out of high school, and was in the service for 3 years over in Japan mostly. And when I came back, I worked in a lot of jobs before I really got settled down.
Now, out of all the athletes that you ever interviewed, now you talked about Ted Williams, but that really wasn't a real interview. I mean, that was just something where y'all ran into one another. Yeah. But out of all the athletes, especially the ASU athletes, who was maybe the best, or should I say the greatest athlete that you've seen play from ASU, or you interviewed, or maybe went on to further their career professionally?
I'm going to say that I'm going to put Earl Bell there. Earl Bell is at the top of the heap when it comes to athlete in his particular sport, and he's still, coaching, and he's still doing a great job. Earl and very smart, and he's not conceited at all. And Earl Bell, as far as just a total sports thing, Earl Bell is the somebody asked me, said, what are your best athlete of the whole bunch? And there's a couple of people that you wouldn't even think, but Clovis Sweeney, I don't know if you remember Clovis Sweeney.
Yes, I do.
Clovis Sweeney was the best athlete I've ever ran in contact. He played, nobody knows it, but he played basketball, football, anything on the football team. And he was I'm not going to say mean, but he would hit you. He would really hit you. And a lot of people think that's kind of odd, me saying that. But I asked a guy one time, I said, you guys had a lot of nicknames for people, and you call this guy Honk, and this guy Big Boy, and this guy so and so, and then Bergie, you called him Big Guy, Big Alligator, or whatever. I said, what do you call Sweeney? He said, Mr. Sweeney.
That's great.
And that says it. That
says it all right there, doesn't it?
As far as
well respected.
Yeah, as far as one that could play all sports, Sweeney was one. He could play all sports. But here's one that kind of surprised a lot of people. Gene Bradley of Nettleton could play everything. He was a great basketball player.
I was a fraternity brother with Gino.
Okay. All right. Well,
I know all about Gino. He was the quarterback for ASU.
Yeah.
And he played on he could pitch.
He played Major League.
Yeah. He made it to the USFL with the was it the Washington or no, the Buffalo. I don't remember.
I'll tell you later.
Okay, tell me later. But anyway, he did make it to the big time.
Oh, he could have made it in about 3 different sports.
Yeah.
He really could.
There's 2 legends right there, Dave.
Okay, write that down because I won't remember.
I'll remember. Earl Bell,
Earl Bell,
Bell,
Yep, Earl Bell,
and Gino Bradley. Yeah. So there's 2 more for us.
Yeah, absolutely, and they really do earn the legendary thing. They really
and they both live right in Jonesboro.
Yeah. And,
sure do. Hadn't seen Gino in years.
Only recently, I think.
Yeah.
So next year, KAIT is going to celebrate their 50th anniversary.
Golly, it's a long time.
You were a huge part of that. Surely you're going to go up there and help them celebrate.
I'm just going to take credit for, they got their football Friday night. I'm going to.
You invented football Friday night.
Right, I was one started it, but football Friday night instead of Friday night football. Have you ever thought about that?
That's right. Oh, yeah.
Everybody had Friday night football. When I started, I found enough cameras and enough cameramen to do it. I said, we're not calling it Friday night football. We're going to call it Football Friday Night.
And they're still using that title today.
Yeah, it still sounds a little bit silly, but hey.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No, it was different.
What do you think about Chris Hutchinson and Blake Gwynn? What they do on Friday night?
The current Channel 8 sports team.
Oh yeah, they do fine.
They're pretty good, aren't they?
Yeah, they are good, and they don't overdo it.
No.
And they both are really serious about it, and I like that. I think that news people should be serious about their work, and I also think that sports guys should be serious about their work.
And they bring some fun, and they bring some energy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they don't get what I call silly.
Right.
They don't get silly. And
like some of those on ESPN
there
do.
You go. There you go. That's what that was my no. Don't be silly.
Well, I won't ask any more questions. That was my 3, and we kind of walked right into the last one there about Hutchinson and Gwynn. But anyway,
I want to talk about the show that he did immediately after retiring from KAIT. You went right into your own outdoors show, Dick Clay Sports Magazine,
right?
Which we showed a few clips of just a few minutes ago. You did that for 7 years after you left Channel 8.
Yeah, and I loved it. See, I always loved filming things. I love to film things. I love to edit things, and the only way you can do that is if you got your own show and you're going to shoot it and you're going to put it together and everything, that kind of run it down my alley. And so that's what I did.
And it wasn't just fishing; it was anything that had to do with outdoors. You were on top of it.
Right. As a matter of fact, I went to a gun place where they trick guns. They trick guns up. I know that hunters know what I'm talking about. And I went over and did a 30-minute show on that. I think it was over at Batesville or someplace like that. But mostly it was fishing. And what we did on the fishing show, our idea was, we're going to go fishing, and we're not going to catch that big fish twice. So you will always see us, when we catch a big fish, you will see us drop it back into the water.
Yeah, I didn't see you keep any fish when the footage that I looked at.
Because what you can do if you catch that big fish, you can put it down there and let it wobble for a while, put it on a hook, throw it back out there, and oh my gosh, there's another big fish.
Got another one.
I'm not saying that they do that.
You're telling your secrets now.
No. Not my secret.
Oh, okay.
My secret was that we didn't do that.
You're telling the secrets of some of them, okay.
That we never caught the same fish twice.
That's great. Well, and we're going to be talking to we're going to be talking to Bill Dance next week. I'm going to ask him if he ever did that.
Bill Dance, the guy, he was the guy. He is the one that you copy after. I promise you.
And I'm looking forward to having him on, but not as much as forward as I've been looking to having you on. My gosh.
Come on.
Because you have every story. You know everything. You know where the bodies are buried. I'm telling you.
I'll tell you what I do know. I do know that I found out this a long time ago that Dick Clay, you know, that legend stuff and stuff, not special. I've been doing what I like to do. And if you can do that in life, hey, you got it whipped. And I've had it pretty well whipped.
I want to let people know that in our conversations prior to this interview, when we were talking about Dick Clay Sports Magazine, you have very graciously offered us all 7 years of that program to air here on YourPrimetimeSports.com.
I've got most of them, and all y'all have to do is take the commercials out. And but now I will tell you, some of the commercials in there are pretty funny.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen them in such a long time. But yeah, because mainly I want my old buddies, you know, Daryl Guerin and Danny Davis and all that bunch. I want them.
Those are the guys that did the show with you.
Yeah. They without them, I couldn't have had the show because I knew nothing about fishing, and they had the jet pump boats, and you got to have a jet pump boat, and they were the guys that put it together for me.
Are you still playing golf?
No. You know why? Because I am no good. I cannot.
Oh, come on. I saw some great shots in some of this footage I've been looking at.
The truth of the matter is, though, I used to be pretty good, but I can't get consistent, and if you can't do it really, really well, you need to, you know, find something else to do for that time.
I bet you his hobby's Pat now.
Pat is my life.
There you go.
She keeps him busy.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's a sweetheart, Clifton. I got to talk to her for a while too. She's just adorable.
Well, maybe I'll get to run into her at an ASU basketball game or something.
Hey, I'll promise you, and I'll bring her right up there too. But then I'll bring her back.
Okay.
Because she is great.
We want to take one more break and come back and wrap things up with Dick Clay. So we'll be back in a couple more minutes, and we will we'll wrap things up with you. I'm just pleased as I can be to have you on the show.
Well, I'm pleased to be here. I hope it made any sense to anybody.
Hey, we may have you back. You got more things to talk about than we can do in just one show.
I'm going to approve that now.
Okay, yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. We'll take a break and be back on YourPrimetimeSports.com.
You get big-time savings and hometown service. Always a bit Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram. And there's a difference you will clearly see. You're always a VIP. Saving service, great selection too. Bev does it all for you.
Do you need insurance? If the answer is yes, let Chris Robinson and his staff at Chris Robinson's Insurance Agency handle your needs. Whether it's auto, life, business, or planning for your retirement, Chris Robinson's Insurance Agency is ready to serve you and your family. Come by Chris Robinson Insurance Agency, 1211 West Court Street in Paragould.
Retirement? It's never looked so good. Welcome to Chateau on the Ridge Assisted Living in Paragould, Arkansas. Say hello to fine dining and down-home living, where around-the-clock security and peace of mind are always at your fingertips. And front row seats to the best shows, they're included. We call it Chateau on the Ridge. You can call it home. Call or visit today to get the whole scoop.
Make the switch now to no-fee banking.
First National Bank provides me with totally free checking, and as a business owner, that helps keep my customers satisfied.
At First National, there are no fees and no hassles. Express yourself by choosing a debit card that fits your personality.
I switched my bank to First National because of no monthly debit card fees. Are you ready to switch?
First National Bank, the working bank for working people. Member FDIC.
Let us show you how easy switching can be.
Welcome back to YourPrimetimeSports.com. We've been talking with him for a while now this morning. This is Dick Clay, the former sports director at Region 8 News at KAIT in Jonesboro. Do you ever go back and just go up to the TV station and hang out with some of the folks and just watch what they're doing and just visit?
I've been out there a couple of times, and really, I want to tell you the truth, I don't know many people out there anymore.
Well, there's only one that I can think of off the top of my head that is still there, that was there the day you left, and that's Diana Davis.
Diana Davis, as a matter of fact, we talk on the phone quite frequently. I'm checking with her kids, and she's checking with my grandkids and Pat and all that kind of stuff. So we still talk frequently. Yeah.
Do you ever wake up one morning and miss it and say, man, I wish I was still doing it?
And I'm going to tell you, because I do this other stuff, you know, and started that other show and stuff, that took care of all that. And as a matter of fact, it's more fun than what I used to have, because I'm kind of like my own boss, and people that are not their own bosses can kind of understand that. But I can do what I want to do, and I just have more fun doing it. The other became work. I mean, if you're doing 6 and 10, you are working a lot, and you're not seeing your family.
And he did his last show at 6, so he wouldn't have to come back and do the 10.
That's it. Exactly. Sure did.
And I was looking at that. I'm going to try and upload your final sports broadcast in 1998 on our YouTube channel for people to see.
Oh, okay. That would be interesting, to say the least.
Well, people have forgotten. You know, it's been, 15 years, 14, 15 years.
That really surprised me. An old cotton chopper from, southeast Missouri, and all that going on, the governor talking and all that. Hey, I said, who are they talking about here? What's the deal? Well, I always just liked my work and liked what I was doing, and I was trying the best I could, and that's all you can do. And if you're kind of satisfied with that, I think you're pretty satisfied.
Well, I have one last question.
Yeah.
Tell us your greatest memory. Out of all the interviews, if you can think of one off the top of your head, I know you may have several, but
I think the greatest memory, and we didn't even talk about this, but in 1970, I was the first state director for Special Olympics, and what happened that year, they had a International Special Olympics, and we all got together, went to Chicago, took our best to Chicago. And Eunice Kennedy Schreiber was in charge of everything, and I had called her on the phone and told her to be at the Little Rock if she could. She called back and said, I will be there, Dick. So I got to introduce her to Arkansas, and I also took her to the governor's mansion where she was going to stay. And I said, they're having a little party for you here, and she said, Dick, I want to go see the kids. And
well, that's obviously an emotional memory, and probably pretty neat to meet Miss Kennedy of the Kennedy family.
Oh, absolutely. And the deal is that it was the kids. It wasn't the drums beating and stuff.
Right. All about the kids.
Yeah.
Which is what we all try to do, isn't it?
Hey,
all about the kids.
Yeah.
Well, that's an awesome memory.
I can't thank you enough for coming on and being a part of our Legends series. And I don't want this to be the only time that we see you on Your Primetime Sports. Now that you know about us,
hey, you guys,
you may be calling us and saying, hey, what do you want to do this week?
I'm going to tell you, I'm amazed at this kind of stuff. Got a little thing here and all that, and I'm looking at myself in 4 different places, got a nice camera, and a good conversation. Hey, it's wonderful. It's modern and stuff.
Dick Clay, folks, thank you so much. I appreciate you a lot.
Appreciate you.
All right, we're going to take another break and come back with our final guest of the day on Double G Sports Talk Saturday here on YourPrimetimeSports.com.